Hey folks, how y'all doing? And welcome back. And oh man, there it is, all put together. I bet you wonder what it took to put the Char-Griller 580 Gravity series together. The burgundy one, or the red one, as some people are calling it. I tell you what, keep on watching. I'll show you what it took. All right, folks. First look at that red. Oh my gosh, that deep burgundy red. It almost matches my truck. But that is man, that is a slick looking little grill. So if you ever wondered, how much this thing weighs, and it is a lot. So this is, you can see it right down there, 251 pounds, take away the packaging, and it's probably 245. A lot of weight in there, and they do a great job of packaging here. Let's get this open, and you can see where a lot of the stuff is in here. So we'll get everything unboxed here. Everything kind of sorted out. I already got the grill grates and the shelves and everything kind of sorted out already, and then we'll get the putting her together. All right, folks, here's the owner's manual. And, I've kind of paged through this a little bit already just to give myself an idea what I'm in for here. Lots of pictograms. Everything seems to be straightforward. Some of these get a little confusing as you got views here that show it laying on the ground, not standing. So you just got to remember that when you're putting it up. These are all in that position right there. So it's just you just got to remember that, and then the best way to do it is just to get out there and do it. But I do like the fact that there are pictograms. I do better with pictures than I do with someone telling me, or someone just writing it down on a piece of paper. So let's just get going, shall we? Yeah, I got another girl watching this. It's hard for me to put this together without looking at the master build, because a lot of similarities here. This thing is huge, and I tell you what, this is all going to be very interesting. If you ever want to know how much assembly you've got, here's your blister pack, and for as big as this grill is, there's not much. And what you got to look for is how many nuts are in there, and there's no nuts. That means everything is pre-threaded with nuts already attached. There's 2 wing nuts, and that's it. So what that tells me is that you're not going to have 2 hands, one hand on the inside holding a nut and another hand putting things together. So that's good. We're just looking through some of the stuff here. Here's our vent slide. Nice and heavy duty. We've got some standard wheels. These look like they're the same size as those over there. I believe that's 8-inch. And then here's our side shelf with our controller in it. It does have, like I said, it supposedly has Wi-Fi in it, and it's got a little antenna on the back. I'll get into all that. And let's start with step 1, which is putting on the grease tray. Now, folks, what's really great about putting your own grill together is you really get to see how it's made and how it works. So this is how they're going to be handling the grease on this grill, is that it's going to go down to the bottom, and it's going to go into a trough that will then, I believe on this side, go to a grease tray. So that's pretty cool. Let's get that together. All right, so I know it's early on, but I just want to point out some engineering going on here. Number one, we've got the what you see there. That's a grease trough, and it is pre-sloped away from the firebox. So I like that. You're taking the grease away from the heat source. But the engineering is for assembly, though. You start the screws, and these are I'm just using a little driver here, 7/16, and you just start the screws, and then this fits in, and then you see the whole thing slides, and then you just kind of tighten it down. So that's some good thinking there. I like that. All right, legs are on, easy peasy. Follow the numbering that's in the owner's manual. They go in a specific spot. You just can't start putting them in there because we've got axle that goes there. We've got the casters that goes there. Front shelf that goes there. So pretty simple, folks. If you're, and while we're at it, I know everybody likes to see different ideas on how people put this together. There's another guy out there. I believe his name is Rob. And Rob, I'm sorry if I'm calling you the wrong name, but his site his YouTube channel is called Mr. Homeowner. I'll leave the link down below. Rob did some interesting videos, a good assembly video on this. So we're gonna keep on going here. So far, everything's lining up, and just following the directions. All right, so here's another tip for when it comes to putting together. I'm using the grease tray for the biggest. These are the B's, but then I've got these are just, you can see they're apple yeah, apple stuff from Mott's applesauce containers, And like this one, you can see I labeled it on the bottom as these are the C bolts. That way there's no confusion and you're not, I know these are B's and I know these are C's and I know these are lock washers. I know these are, and everything's right at your fingertips. All right, bottom wheels go on real easy. There's just the rod and then a washer, the wheel, and a cotter pin. For the casters, it doesn't tell you really what to do here. So as long as you've got the caster locked in the down position, here's the up position, you see it moves freely, because that nut is recessed into this leg, so you can't really get to the nut. But if you lock it, then you can turn this and just you'll get it nice and snug. That's as good as you're gonna get it. Easy peasy. They don't show that in the manual. All right, so we got the grill laying on its side. We took the it tells you to take out the charcoal, we call it the chocolate tower, but this is all heavy duty in here, and there's actually fire bricks down in there. So that's it's kind of dual. This is porcelain enamel, so this is going to last. And there's some weight here, pretty heavy duty. But we're going to put on this bottom box. In that box, there's a blower on that side, I believe, and then that's where your ash bucket goes. And they give you a detail here, and they got this kind of cool thing going on again, where you just kind of start screws, and then you can hang it like you would a picture on a wall. However, they want you to do it with the washer on there. And there's no way you can do that. So what I'm suggesting is you put 3 of them in without the washer, get it stabbed on there like I got here. Then we're going to remove one at a time, put the washer on, and then put it back on. And that'll be the easiest way of doing it. Oh, and having a light in there helps too. All right, so talk about it again. There's a total of 6 in here. Now remember, there's a gasket in there, that white thing, that's a gasket. So you just want to tighten these up, snug at first, get all 6 of them in. You do the 4 first to get them hung, and then, like I said, I took out one at a time, put the washer on, then I put the other 2 on, and now I'm just going to snug them down. I want to get that gasket nice and snug in there, you know, and we got to be careful not to go too tight, because this is that porcelain enamel, and that will crack if you get it too tight. So you want to take some time on this, because that is a seal there that keeps air in and controls it, and that's important with controlling the temperature. All right, next step is to put the fan on. Now, I want to back up to putting that box on there. I showed using regular washers. I was wondering why I was running out of washers. Those are lock washers in there, so I took them all out and put the lock washers back on me. Yeah, but those get lock washers. This gets lock washers too. Now, this is the part of the fan, and there's, you can see it there. There's a flap in there. There it is. And there's actually a cable right there. See it? And that flap can get hung up on that cable. So when you're putting this on, make sure you got the flap hanging down like that before you put it on. And that is important. And believe it or not, you're saying that's it, Tom? That's how, you know, the air comes up, and that's it. The funny thing is, on the Masterbuilt, I got the same setup. It's almost identical. All right, handles on. You would think it would be easy, but this was a pain in the butt. So here's my suggestion. They recommend putting on one of these first, and then sliding this. That's where the problem is. This fits very tightly into that. So my suggestion is, and there's 2 notches in this on this side, 2 notches on this side. My suggestion would be to put these together first, because it's at least on mine, it's a very, very tight fit. Get the notches lined up first. Use a rubber mallet and just pound them in gently. Remember, this is cast aluminum, so that will break. And then just wing nuts. I don't know why well, okay. It just makes it easier. I'll never take it off, because I don't want to mess with that again. That was far too long just to put a handle on. All right, so we talked about this back vent in the overview and review of this grill, and I spent a little bit of time back here, but it went together relatively easy. And this is one of the more creative parts. That's open, that's closed, so when the rain and the snow won't blow up in there, and you can see what it looks like from the inside. Yeah, that's it right there. So I like that idea. Very, very nicely done by Char-Griller. All right, side shelf is on. The only thing to talk about there is a wire that's going to go through a rubber grommet right there. And when you take this end through, well, at least for me, it pushed the rubber grommet off, which is fine. You just get it up onto this insulation, and then you reinstall that rubber grommet before you put your screws in. You got those picture hanger things again, where You start 2 at the top, and they slide in, and then the other 2 go in. Super simple. Front shelf is on there. I tell you what, I really like this front shelf. It's wider than most. A lot of manufacturers these days, they're putting front shelves on. I don't know if it's because they're afraid of lawsuits, so maybe someone's sitting on it, but this is a nice shelf. I have heat baffle. So there's a holder you got to put in, that's just two screws. And then this heat baffle, this massive heat baffle, folks, if you watched the original video I did on it, I just can't say enough about it. And then there's our deflector, grease deflector that goes on top of it. I put the grates in there and the top shelf in there. That's kind of the fun part. They make them small enough so you can put them in a dishwasher, but don't tell your wife you're doing that. There's a flat side, and then there's a side that's not so flat. And I'm deciding to go, I can't really say what side to go with. I don't know if it really matters, but I'm going to go flat side up. There's more surface area when it comes to searing, and it probably may clean up just a tad bit more easy. Now, the only reason I want to talk to you here about, so if there's any styrofoam left inside there, even just a little teeny tiny little balls of styrofoam, get them out of there. Vacuum them out, clean it out real nice. You don't need that stink in your grill when you're doing your burn off. All right, one of the things I mentioned in the review video is I like that this is replaceable. So this is like a burn box. Charcoal holder. There's fire bricks in there, showed you that before. And that's where the charcoal sits on and burns. And that whole contraption there is where you light it. And that whole thing slides into there. So you got to make sure that you've got an opening here. That opening is facing toward the grill, not that way, but toward the grill. And then this thing, they kind of show putting it in from up above, but I've been playing around with it. So you can see the vents in there. That's going to face in toward the grill, and this is going to face toward the out of the grill. So let's see if I can do this. I practiced it once. So I just want to get it in there, just like that. And then now this whole thing slides in there. We'll do that next. All right, so this I did not practice. It should just go right in there. A little weight there. Thing's hefty. Here are a couple bolts. Yeah, just like that. All right, now we gotta start plugging stuff in. All right, electrical. It's not that difficult, folks. You're matching red to red, yellow to yellow, and white to white, and just plugging them in. And then this plastic one here too, it only goes on one way. So super simple. And then there's a channel. Where the heck is that channel? Ah, right there. It's a channel that gets bolted onto here, and then this whole harness, wiring harness, goes in that channel. All right, that's what it looks like with the channel on. All right, now we're on to underneath and get that hooked up into, you can see the one. Right, so we're under where the controller is. You can see there's your Wi-Fi antenna, but everything plugs in, and you can't plug it into the wrong one because it just won't go in. So these plugs only fit one way. So then I got those little tabs there. I'm gonna feed them up through those tabs, and then that cover will go back on. So having a nice light, that helps too. All right, got the cover back on. You can see the power cord there. That's a black thing. And then I got it just hanging up here, that big thing there. That's for taking off the grates. Oh boy, the things I do. I'll tell you what, let's plug it in and see if we got power. All right, moment of truth. I got the fan door open. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got power. Can you hear that? Fan's running. Showing that I got one of these plugged in. Why do they only give you one? There's two there. I don't get that. All right, so guess what? She works. Turn it off. Success. Well, there she is, all put together. Oh, ain't she a beaut cart? I'll tell you what. Oh man, you know, people are gonna ask, Tom. Okay, right behind you. There's the master build. Was that easier, or was that easier, folks? I'm gonna tell you this right now. They both had their challenges. They both had their challenges. I'm gonna say it was about the same when it comes to assembly. There was maybe a little bit more assembly when it came to putting the hopper all together, for the master build, but there were some other challenges with this too. So time took me about 3 hours. It was about the same with the master build too. So I hope this video was all about putting this together, and if you get one, to help you put it together, and also at the same time giving you a little look-see as to how this thing works and how it's made. So I hope this was helpful. Thumbs up, leave a comment. Folks, I appreciate you watching. Tom Horsman at YouTube, take care.